instructions that you see on Haiku. Okay, so in our previous class, we covered the line function as well as stroke, the color of a line, and stroke weight, which is the width of the line. So today we're going to build on and cover a couple of other shape functions and different ways we can modify them. So I'm going to start out with creating the size function. I'd recommend that you use the same size as I am, 500 wide by 500 high, so that you, when you're placing shapes on the coordinate plane, they are going to end up appearing to be in the same place. But for a background color, please feel free to choose whatever strikes your fancy. I'm going to click copy, Control V to paste. I'm skipping a line here just to make it easier to see. You don't need to skip a line if you don't want to. Okay, so the first shape function we're going to talk about is rect, which is we'll make a rectangle. Rect takes 4 parameters. The first one is the x location, the second one is the y location, and then the width and the height. So I'm actually going to add a little comment over here, x, comma, y, comma, width, comma, height, so you can remember. The x and y coordinates refer to the upper left corner of the rectangle. So on my beautiful graph paper here, if I wanted to make this rectangle, the upper left corner is at 100, 100. And I've made it, if it goes from 100 to 300, that's 200 pixels wide. And if it goes between 100 and 200, that's 100 pixels high. Don't forget your semicolon. There you go. If I want to change the color of this rectangle, it's a different function. It's not stroke because that will change the outline color, which we can do in just a moment. But to change the color of the inside, that's called fill. So again, you go up to color selector, and you can pick whatever color you like again. Now you've got this rectangle that is kind of red. If you want to change the color of the outline, you can use that stroke function. Again, you'll go to the color selector. So this is the inside color. This is the outline color. So you can kind of see the yellow border around it now. All right. Let's put another rectangle on the screen. Let's put one down in this corner. So let's have it 400 pixels over, make it 50 pixels wide and 50 pixels high. That looks like it's about 350 down. So I'm going to say rect. 400 pixels over, 350 pixels down, and I made it 50 by 50. Now, amazingly, if you've observed, if the rectangle has a width that's equal to its height, we get a square. Hooray! So it's the same function to make a square as a rectangle because all you have to do is make the width and the height the same. So the color, though, is the same as the first rectangle, the bigger rectangle 2. Any functions that modify a shape will be applied to all the shapes that follow until you change those as well. So to change the stroke, the outline color, and the fill color of this square, I'll choose a different fill. And a different stroke. These colors are going to go great together. There we go. It doesn't matter the order of fill and stroke. I'm going to you don't need to do this, but I'm just reordering them. As long as they come directly before your shape, they will be applied to your shape. So it doesn't matter the order. So this is the outline color. color. So either order is fine as long as they come before this shape. So I'm going to recommend you pause, try to put a rectangle of some kind down here. Make it a tall, narrow rectangle down here somewhere. So pause and try that. How many of you actually paused? Did you pause? I'll never know. Okay, so let's do that now. So if I'm putting a rectangle down here, that's not so far over, so maybe I'll say rect. Maybe it'll only make it 50 pixels over, but I want it to be kind of far down, so maybe 300 pixels down. And then to make it narrow, I don't know, let's make it really narrow. Let's say 25 pixels wide and then 100 pixels high. Good job. And again, you can change the fill color by putting a fill function right in front of it. Oh, I'm running out of colors. I don't even know. Oops, that's fine, not paste. What if this one we don't want any outline at all? The default is a thin black line around it. What if we don't want any line at all? The function for that is no stroke with a capital X. Again, if it's any compound word, the second word has a capital just to make it easy to read. That's sort of a programming convention. So now we're saying we don't want an outline around this rectangle. So now the outline on this one is gone. These two are still there because we have those strokes. If I wanted to make maybe the outline of the first rectangle much bigger, I could also use that stroke weight function. So again, it doesn't matter. I could put it before the fill, after the fill, after the stroke, before the stroke, just as long as it comes before this rectangle. I can use stroke weight, which we covered earlier this week. So I'll make it maybe 5 pixels. So there you go. But what has happened is that stroke weight has been applied to this shape as well. Because again, stroke weight, like fill and like stroke, will apply to every shape that follows unless we give a different command. In the case of this, the tall skinny rectangle, we said no stroke. So that is another command that turns off the stroke entirely. So if we want this green square to still have the stroke it had before, which was 1 pixel thick, I would have to go put in a stroke weight of 1. So we get that skinny pink line around here again. All right, one other caveat here. If I have a no stroke on, that means this no outline, which is the same as no line. So if I now try to make a line from 0, 0 to 500, 500, big diagonal line, I'm not going to see it because the last command was no stroke, which turns off the stroke. There's no outline for anything following it, including lines. So to get that back, I would need to put another stroke in. And let's, I don't know, just going to grab this color. And we should get our line back, again with that default width of 1 pixel wide. So that's a little introduction to rectangles. That's the end of this classwork video. The next one coming up, we're going to do one more shape function, and you will upload that file as well. So save this file, upload it to the classwork Dropbox in Haiku, and tune in to the next video.